Oh, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Chris's Corner. I'll be your host, Chris Corner, joined again by Justin. And now we're going to have our nice, cool spoiler talk, breakdown, review thing of Captain America Civil War. Now, if you haven't been warned already by, I'm sure, the title of this video and the little blurb I just said, spoilers ahead.
Yeah.
Oh, and spoiler warning, Han Solo dies. All right.
Be that dick.
You've been warned. Sorry, I keep looking over at this one. I just want to make sure everything's fucking working because I'm paranoid because I've had a couple videos just not work recently, and
Yeah.
I just like to make sure it's all working.
Yeah.
Hence why there's been some video issues lately, guys. And yeah, a lot of stuff going on. Other projects I'm working on, which I will tell you all about very soon. Justin is involved. Lots of people involved in this.
I'm involved?
Yeah, you work behind me.
Oh, yeah.
The other project we have coming up,
Okay.
which is for something completely different.
I'm forgetful, don't mind me.
Yeah, and I hired him to work for
I work a lot, okay?
I know you do. I know you do. But yeah, so there are other projects in the work that you guys will be given some info on very soon. Big things coming up. We'll let you know. It'll be awesome. Lots of people enjoy it. Hopefully lots of people enjoy it. We've got lots of good feedback on the stuff I have planned already. Lots of people on board to work on this. So we will see soon. It's going to take a while to get it all done, but it'll be good. And I'll give you guys updates on everything of that as progress continues. So, Captain America Civil War. Boom, boom. What an all-star cast they had in this. All-star cast. Great cast. Of course, you have all your same characters you've met from
all
Iron
the
Man.
previous movies.
Yeah, all the
Pretty
all the main heroes you've met from all the previous movies. Of course, Chris Evans in the forefront again.
Chris
as
Evans?
Chris Evans. You shut your mouth. You shut your mouth when you're talking to me. And I am a big fan of Chris Evans as Captain America.
Yeah.
Straight up, big fan. Big fan.
Miss him as the Human Torch, but
I don't. I don't miss him
I
as
don't
Human Torch at all. I much like him better as Steve Rogers.
yeah, I do too. I'm just saying.
Robert Downey Jr. being his cocky, normal self.
Perfect Tony Stark.
Perfect Tony Stark. Perfect casting, I agree. But yeah, so Captain America Civil War opens up with the Avengers.
Basically fucking up.
His team of Avengers. Well, it's not them fucking up. They're on a mission.
I know. Yeah.
Because Crossbones, if you guys saw Captain America: The Winter Soldier, I forget his fucking name. Hold on. I have a list up, so I cannot fucking forget everybody's name. But he's not.
Frank Grillo is at the bottom right there.
Oh, there he is. There we go. Yes, Frank Grillo's character, Barack Rumlow, Crossbones. I like Frank Grillo. I've seen him in a few other action movies, not as big action movies, but I like him as an actor. I liked him in that as Rumlow in Winter Soldier. I thought he was great.
I didn't even remember him from Winter Soldier.
See,
It's been years. I haven't watched it.
Okay. I watched them all recently again, as I stated. But no, I really liked his whole 2-second bit he had in this movie.
I'm gonna blow stuff up.
Yeah, so essentially it opens up with them Crossbones is after this biological weapon.
They never even explained what that is.
No, it was just a biological weapon that they were after. It never comes back into play.
I thought it was going to have something to do with the movie.
So did I. I thought they would bring it back in somehow.
Yeah, I forgot about it till right now, actually.
Yeah, it really played no part.
No.
Which is interesting because usually when they do that in a movie, it plays part in the movie. It fucking didn't
Maybe
matter.
later, but I doubt it.
Yeah, didn't play a part in this movie at all. But yeah, so essentially he wants to he's waiting for Cap to chase him down. So they fuck up all the soldiers. Scarlet Witch, badass in the few opening scenes there that she's in.
Oh, she gets even better
Later on. Oh yeah, but we'll get to that. Falcon kicking some serious ass at the beginning. His wings using him as shield back
Especially
behind him.
considering when you got to think, this is the new team of Avengers.
Yeah.
The newbies, the guys that don't know what they're doing.
Well, they know what they're doing now.
I mean,
Clearly
doing
they've
as a
been training.
team, 100%.
Yeah. Well, we don't know how many missions they've been on
I
from
guess, yeah.
Avengers 2 to this.
Yeah.
But no, because I was kind of wary after Avengers when of course a lot of the
I was like, really?
the new team of
That's
Avengers.
the new team?
But you know what? I immediately felt
I was
that,
surprisingly pleased.
yeah, me too. They all played really well together.
Yep.
Especially considering there's it's like you have Steve Rogers who's just like superhuman strength and speed and stamina.
Mr. Goody Goody.
And a goody goody. I was really impressed with Falcon.
Yeah.
I was really impressed
Falcon
with
was
Falcon.
pretty badass.
He was, considering all he has is a wingsuit.
Well, and like tech. He has a lot of tech.
He had a bit of tech, yeah.
Tony definitely hooked
but
him up.
hand-to-hand combat too. He was kicking some serious ass. I was impressed.
I was even surprised later on in the movie when Tony was hand-to-hand combat.
I
was like, whoa, where did he learn that?
I know. But we gotta get to that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Frank Grillo's character, him and Captain America end up going head to head in this fist fight. He's got these badass power glove things.
Yeah.
And he's beating the shit out of Steve Rogers. And then he's like, ho, I'm going to blow myself up. And right as he's like blowing himself up, Scarlet Witch comes and contains the blast and starts lifting him into the air. And because she's apparently not so in tune with her powers yet, not in full control, the blast ends up escaping as she's lifting him into the air. And he blows the fuck up and takes out...
she kind of throws him by accident.
Yeah, lifts him into the air, and it kind of breaks out her little containment field thing and kind of fucks up a building, and she accidentally kills a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And immediately she's like crying and like upset and
Basically, this is the key thing that starts Civil War.
Yeah, and this is kind of this is kind of the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
in this sense.
They were like, you guys done fucked up too many times.
Yeah, and Steve is like, oh shit, man down, and he's upset obviously, but he handled it in a very soldier-like manner, which I was really happy to see because he is a soldier.
He's a soldier. Yeah.
That's very much it. I mean, casualties are a part of war, and he understands.
They did very good with keeping, she's a teenage girl.
Yeah.
Really, she's a teenage girl. She's gonna be torn up by this.
Yeah, and she is later on, and something I'll talk on later about Hawkeye in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, so then they kind of all go back, and then Colonel Mustache, the Colonel. Well, he was the Secretary of Defense or whatever now. I know you don't remember, but he was in the Incredible Hulk with Edward Norton.
Okay.
He played the Colonel going after
Okay.
Edward Norton in the Incredible Hulk. So it was good to see him actually come back, considering the Ed Norton one was kind of just forgotten about a bit.
They do say that is part of the universe.
That is part.
They just changed the actor.
Yeah, they just changed the actor, and I don't blame them for changing from Ed Norton because, as I've heard from many sources, Ed Norton is very hard to work with.
Yeah.
Very hard.
I liked
to
him
work
as the Hulk.
Oh, he did a fine
Ruffalo's
job.
better.
I like Mark Ruffalo better too. He's more cuddly.
Anyway, not even in the movie.
Not even in the movie, but yeah. So Colonel Mustache comes back, and is like kind of comes up with Tony, and they're talking about how they have to kind of police these these specials, these
I think he calls them augmented humans.
Augmented humans,
people that have tech, that have abilities.
Yeah, DC fans
secret
here.
agents.
We'll call them meta humans. But yeah, so
only because Marvel's like, I'm coining mutant.
Yeah, really. I'm okay with metas. But yeah, so there's a lot of, after that big opening scene, there's a lot of exposition after this. It gets into a kind of long, drawn out.
Yeah, I find myself looking at my watch and being like, really? You're going to do something else yet?
Yeah, see, I kind of understand why.
I do too. You have to explain what's going on.
Yeah.
Really, the Civil War comic does kind of drag on a lot with politics.
Of course, as a lot of comic books do. Because
again,
they have to put all the exposition
not
in there.
Like the comics really at all,
no,
other than the fact that there's a Cap side and an Iron Man side.
Yeah. But anyway, so Colonel Mustache shows them videos of what happened in New York, what happened in Washington, and Sokovia. So
each of them are getting broken up at seeing different things.
Yeah, and
basically, whichever one was mostly their fault.
See, and what I really appreciated is the videos that they used for each one were like
from the movies.
No, they weren't from the movies. Like
Some of them were.
Well, no, like they showed like the couple first ones that they showed and the ones they showed in the trailer were like clips from the movie.
But
then
like
they showed some like actual videos of people like with camcorders, like when the Hulk fucking dives onto that building and he's smashing that thing. You see the rubble debris fall onto whoever was holding that camera, and that clearly killed them. And I liked seeing that the casualties of the previous movie are coming into play, and
they're showing like this is what happens when we let superheroes do whatever they want.
Yeah, and then of course. Tony was like, we need to be putting a check in. And I'm not going to lie. Most of all of the faults in all of these things were Tony's fault. I mean, okay, we can't give Avengers completely to Tony. The first Avengers movie. We can't give that all to him.
I'd say that's mostly, Hulk and Thor.
We'll hold S.H.I.E.L.D. to that because they're the ones who kept fucking with the Tesseract. But I mean, even in Captain America Winter Soldier, he's the one who helped them build better tech for the fucking helicarriers. So, I mean, we're going to put this all on Tony. And he's the one who built Ultron in this universe. So, we're going to pin this all on fucking Tony right now.
And realistically, who's one of the people that helped create Captain America? Stark.
Well, yeah, but that
it's all the Stark problems.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah. And the beginning, too, you see Tony Stark. There was this whole section about Tony Stark not being able to,
let go of his parents' death.
Let go of his parents' death and how he never got to resolve issues with his father, and that does come up later on in the movie.
Yeah.
But they did that, and they showed his parents dying in the car crash, and like, or they show a car crash at the beginning, which comes back and you find out that it was his parents' car crash.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the big point they make early on in this movie is Tony has never resolved his issues with his parents' death and not being able to resolve things with his father.
Which ends up kind of being his breaking point.
Yeah,
near the end. Of the movie.
But yeah, so they do all the exposition, and then Tony's side, which they both, and what I really liked about this is there's no real bad guy in this situation for these two. There's no real,
really. Like, not for them.
There's not a bad guy. I mean, both people have very, very, strong
legitimate points
of view.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you look at Tony's side, and like they need to be policed and controlled.
Tony's side is, if we're above the law, who's going to stop us when we're out of control?
Yeah, who can stop us at this point? And Captain America, and I'm sorry, I'm Team Cap in this situation. Because, as you see, especially from Captain America 2, I mean, when you find out that Hydra had infiltrated S.H.I.E.L.D. and been, like, kind of manipulating S.H.I.E.L.D. for years and years and years and years, I mean...
He basically says, who's going to police supers but supers?
Yeah, I mean, and he's
really, to a degree.
And Cap's like, well, we're going to be controlled by this government, so, I mean, what happens if there's a situation...
Again, he's military, so he knows whoever holds the cards in the military rules the world.
Yeah, but even then...
So whoever's in charge of the Avengers, they're like, you know what? I want to invade you. Let's send the Avengers.
But again, they would be more...
it was the UN.
Yes, they were reporting more to the UN.
But if it's not a country that's part of the UN.
Well, yeah. But my big thing here is that, and I really side with Cap's point of view on this, is what happens if there's a situation that we want to go to and they won't let us go, or there's something we know we shouldn't get involved in and they send us there.
Yeah.
And a big point in this movie is, as I stated in the spoiler-free review, is I think this should have been two separate movies. I think there should have been more of a direct Captain America sequel to Winter Soldier, dealing with kind of Bucky and Cap.
Yeah.
And, like, sure, throw some other heroes in there to deal with it, like, as I really like Black Panther. I think that would have been a cool story to throw into that Captain America movie. But the Civil War, I think, should have been its own separate movie, a little more fleshed out, and a little more, not just directly on the two of them. I would have liked to see some more points in internal struggle with some of the other characters in this.
Have a little bit of a, well, I don't know whose side I'm going to join. Instead of literally in like 10 minutes, they all decided, nope, I'm on your side.
They all kind of know where they want to be. We all know why Vision sides with Tony. He's still kind of...
Tony's his dad.
He's
basically.
Because he was Jarvis, and he still kind of has that connection. He still calls him Mr. Stark and everything like that.
Mr. Stark, sir.
Yeah. But yeah, so...
has his little crush on
Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch.
Peeping on her a little bit.
Creepily teleporting through the wall into a room.
Walking through, and she's like, we talked about this. He's like, well, the door was open.
The door was open, I thought it was okay. I mean, that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Oh, and him in his sweater.
Oh my god! His sweet button shirt with his little sweater vest thing on. I loved it. I loved it that he was dressing like a normal person. I think that was great. I liked that they did that to try, like he was trying to humanize himself. I really liked that.
But he's purple. Yeah.
He's red. He's red. I liked, and I really do like Paul Bettany. I love that he was the voice of Jarvis. I really like him as an actor, even in his really shitty movies like Priest and what's the other one?
I don't know.
The vampire one. The one I fell asleep when we were watching.
I don't know.
Anyway, or the end of the world, whatever it was. Anyway, I like Paul Bettany. I'm just putting that out there. But yeah, where the fuck was I? We gotta stop getting off topic. So yes, both sides of this. I mean, both of them have their strong points.
You were saying how Vision sided with Tony, obviously.
Oh yeah, no, but we were before. That was off a ramble that I went there.
A ramble.
Shut your mouth.
I thought you were gonna actually hit me.
No. I'm not that.
Not
mean.
on camera.
Not that mean today. There are people watching. See these people? They're watching us. I'm not going to slap you in front of them.
You might get more views.
I'm really tempted to slap you in the face right now. But yes, as I stated, I'm very much Team Cap in this situation. Because, again, if the government controls them, what happens? And I was saying, I would have liked to see more of a movie on Civil War where that was an issue. Like, Wakanda was the issue. And this is what splits the team is after they all start to kind of pick a side in this situation, that there is a problem in Wakanda, and Cap's side is like, all right, let's go fucking help them out, and they go to help the Black Panther and that stuff out.
But then it turns into
the government was like, no, we don't want anybody in Wakanda. That's not our situation. So then they see that Team Cap goes, like Cap's team goes, so they send the other people to kind of stop Cap's team, and that would have been, I think that would have been.
And then it turns into more of now we got to chase down the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, right, because it was very much just chase down the Winter Soldier.
Until they found out he wasn't actually the bad guy.
Yeah, and I mean, it would have been easy enough. I mean, it was kind of a little loose for me. It wasn't that like tight story in that situation. I mean, there was more than enough evidence to show that he wasn't in Vienna when the bombing happened. It was simple enough. But yeah, so anyway, they pin this big so anyway, they get to the hearing where the king of Wakanda is like kind of backing this bill that the UN wants to
call it.
The amendum, or I forget what it was. Anyway.
It was whatever the name. What's the name of where Scarlet Witch is from?
Sokovia?
Yes, it was the Sokovia something.
Yes. Amendum, was it? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
I think Sokovia Amendum. Anyway,
doesn't matter.
Yeah, so they're backing this because the king of Wakanda was like very behind this about policing these.
And he appreciated the fact that, for example, that Black Widow was like, "Yes, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry about those casualties. We're gonna back you." And he thanked her.
Yep.
And he's like, "I know this can't be easy for you. I just really wish that Captain Rogers could be here."
Yeah, Captain Rogers could be here.
And she goes, "I wish he could too."
Yeah, because he was against them right away, and Falcon, of course,
backed with Cap.
Anthony Mackie's character just backs Cap up, and I kind of like the friendship that they have going on.
He's almost like the roadie to.
But yeah, and then Sebastian Stan.
Love the black guys.
Racist. You racist?
Marvel's the racist ones.
Marvel's the racist ones.
Give the white guys the black best friend.
I'm not saying anything. I'm not getting involved in that conversation. There's a line I won't cross. And, but anyway, and then there's the bombing there, and they kind of frame it, and it's just this one thing where you see, like, kind of Bucky walk by the truck that blows up, like, way before it blows up, and it's like, no, he did it! And I was like, that's kind of loose. I was like, there's no real, you don't see him.
We saw the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, we saw him near that truck. That means he fucking blew it up. And I'm like, he wasn't even in the country? I mean, I'm sure there's more than enough evidence to show that he was still in Berlin.
Yeah.
When that happened, where you found him the next day.
Yeah. Don't think he can get international travel that quickly.
I don't know. They all made it there today.
They have Quinjets.
They do. But anyway, so yeah, they pin this on Bucky. So Cap fucking flies from Vienna and all that.
It was all over the world. The whole movie was just like, I'm here, now I'm here, now I'm here.
Place. But I was saying, I would have liked to have seen that more as a Civil War movie and have a Captain America more directly focused at dealing with Bucky and Bucky's past, than kind of having it in the forefront of this with all that stuff other happening in the background. I would have liked to seen them split that up a little better. So now we'll move on there. So they track down the Winter Soldier like right away.
Like, without effort.
They weren't able to find him forever. And then,
7 years, I think they said.
Whatever. And they tracked him down right away.
Or months.
Yeah, 7 months or whatever. And there he is. He's Berlin. We found him.
I think it was 7 years.
But, I don't think it was 7 years. Was it? Maybe.
I think it was.
I don't know. Maybe it was. I can't remember how long it's been. I'm old. But anyway, it was really good to see Bucky on screen again. And, I like that Cap's like in the apartment looking around at stuff, and then Bucky's like standing behind him like a creep, staring at him.
I'm gonna get you. Hello. You got a pretty mouth.
You got a pretty mouth, Steve. Oh shit. And Falcon's in his ear. He's like, "Oh, I'm compromised. I'm on the roof. They're coming. 3 seconds." But anyway, so he's talking, and Bucky's like, "I didn't do it." And he's like, and Bucky's like, "I'm not killing anyone."
Yeah.
I really like that he said that, and he starts
destroying people.
He
throwing them into walls.
He kind of beats the shit out of Steve a little bit, and then punches right next to Steve's head, pulls a backpack out of the ground. I was like, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm not killing anyone. Pulls a backpack out and fucks off.
Throws it across like 3 houses.
Hugs it across to this other building way out of the way, and then fights his way out of this building.
Breaks the railing and uses it as a rope.
Yeah, hangs on the railing. Grabs him. It was really good. Really good action scene.
Their action scenes were very well done.
Yes, the action scenes were great. Some of the fight scenes I felt seeing it in 3D. They were a little blurry.
Yeah.
A little shaky cam, a little more so than usual than I'm seeing in Marvel movies. And it seemed a little blurry.
Usually Marvel, I feel like they're usually pretty on point.
Yeah, like
this
everything
was a little off.
Yeah, it felt yeah, there really wasn't much 3D. Well, I don't really see it anyway. Yeah. I just felt it was a little too much shaky cam. It would have been nice to see a little more focus in some of the fights. and my light here is causing everything to go all light and dark because I keep moving. Shut up. But yeah, so then there's that badass fight scene, and he beats the shit out of like 50 soldiers, and Cap's helping him. Cap's helping him because he's like, it's fucking Bucky.
Yeah.
And then he almost kills the one guy, and Cap catches him. He's like, really?
Yeah.
Bucky keeps beating the shit out of these other
Almost
guys.
drops him off like a
Almost
ledge.
dropped him. Yeah, wait down the stairwell, and Cap just catches him. So then they like Bucky gets off and bails out. Everybody kind of takes some really long falls in this one.
You also forgot to say that at one point the king's son was like, "No, I'll get Bucky."
Yeah, I totally missed that point. Yeah, because Black Widow goes, says, "We'll find the guy who killed your father," and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll kill him myself.
And
Not find him,
walks away.
nothing. I will kill him myself."
And you're like, "The fuck!"
And I was like, "Badass." And
that new king is awesome.
yeah, see, and I knew going into this that he was the Black Panther. Justin did not.
No.
And then so the Black Panther shows up and just starts beating the shit out of Bucky. It was a really good fight.
Falcon's like, "Who the fuck is this guy?"
Yeah, and they're all running down the street, outrunning cars.
Yeah. Bucky,
No real superpowers. He's got that arm, but he's outrunning cars. Whatever, I can accept that. Whatever the Russians did to him, fine.
I think they were supposed to.
He's more of a super.
I think
soldier
they
too.
did make him more of a super soldier.
They really didn't
originally
touch on it
supposed to
too
be. I
much
don't remember.
in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. They really didn't talk about what they did to him. Just that they did things
And they
to him.
brainwashed him.
Yeah, they brainwashed him, and he's got that badass metal arm. So yeah, and then there's this big ass street chase between Cap's chasing Black Panther's chasing Bucky.
Favorite part of that scene.
Bucky grabbing that guy off the motorcycle.
Not even grabbing the motorcycle, shaking the guy off, and whipping it under himself and driving.
All in one sweet, swift motion. Gets on the bike and goes. And Black Panther's just like, nope. And he catches up to him.
Steve's driving a freaking minivan down the street, basically.
Yeah, he steals the Audi truck, and he's just driving the Audi truck. It was great.
Flips it and just walks out, starts running.
It gets hit and it's flipping over. He just opens the door, runs out of the truck as it's flipping. And I'm like, this is like a scene out of Wanted.
I was gonna say it's like Red.
Red, yeah.
When he just spins
the car, or fucking in Wanted when Angelina Jolie picks up James McAvoy
Yeah,
in the car. Fucking great. Wanted, a terrible comic book movie. But I have a secret love for it, and I don't know why, because it's just so over the top, and it has nothing to do with like the graphic novel. It literally has no connection to the graphic novel.
Back to Civil War.
Civil War.
And then when obviously the king unmasks himself.
Yeah, unmasks himself and shows that he's the king.
And they're all like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, he's the king of Wakanda, and
I think that's really the only thing that really saved them all from getting more trouble than they already
were in. Yeah, because he takes it off, and they all kind of like. Even Cap puts
it's his country. They know who he is.
Yeah, and they all kind of surrender and accept that they've been captured and that this is going to happen. And
3 friggin' hugely dangerous people in the back of the police cruiser.
See, but they all
went
willingly.
Peacefully. So,
but no, they put Bucky in this big constricting ass freaking thing. It's like I can't.
It's like he has an arm. You have a guy that could tear the back of your car off, and you're worried about the guy that has one arm.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, they all kind of give themselves up, and they get taken to this holding area, prison thing.
Yeah.
And they're gonna bring in a psychoanalyst. Was their big thing? Oh, we're gonna bring in a psychoanalyst.
Oh, they were on the raft
to analyze the Winter Soldier, to check out his mental state, to see if he's murdering people. Yeah. I was like, all right, I get he's fucked up, right?
Yeah.
But okay, let's do that. And
they'd already been showing the guy that showed up previously doing things.
Yes, so the villain in this movie, Zemo. I mean, he's a background character for most of the movie. Like, he does these little things, and you see him on the phone, like, listening to messages.
Seems as though he's talking to listening to messages his wife left him while he was busy doing something.
Yeah, he's listening to these messages from his wife throughout the movie. And he keeps asking about this thing that happened in 1991, and he's trying to find this particular event, this file about the Winter Soldier from 1991.
And you have no idea what it is till the very end of the movie.
Yep, and so it's good, and that's kind of where Captain America and Bucky are headed this whole time. Is after this scene here, they're after the Zemo character, and that's their focal point, and then every other character's focal point is capturing them again. But anyway, so they get back to this facility, and Cap and Falcon, they're kind of walking around. They're allowed to walk around and stuff because, they're apparently not in that. Like, they're in trouble, but they're not going to prison is the big thing.
Yeah.
And
they tell Panther, oh, you're not going to have a cell, you're going to have an office.
Yeah, you're going to have an office.
You just can't leave the premises. He's like, I'm not leaving anyway.
Yeah.
Falcon gets all mad because they inventory his his gear as bird suit.
That was funny.
Yeah.
That was funny. Really? Bird suit?
And he keeps making cracks about how everybody has a gimmick nowadays.
Yeah, everyone's got a gimmick.
Because he's like, Panther, what, you dress like a cat? Do you really like cats?
Yeah. But Agent Hottie, as some people have been calling her, Agent Carter's niece.
Yeah, well, I guess you could call her the new Agent Carter.
Yeah,
she's
a
agent
Carter.
And she is a Carter.
She's a Carter, because Agent Carter dies in this movie. You don't see her. It's just kind of like a really in the background kind of thing, and you find
Captain gets a text message that said she went in her sleep.
Yeah, she went in her sleep.
I think, something like that.
And because he was having this big conversation with Tony, and he's like, I have to go, and gets up and leave when they were talking about the Sokovia Amendment. And so he just leaves, and that was why he left.
A lot of stuff happened for Cap emotionally.
In this movie. I mean, because Agent Carter was like his first kind of love interest in the first
and then,
movie.
He's kind of fallen for this new Agent Carter.
Well, I mean, they had the little flirty thing.
And then his best friend is back, and he's...
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of emotional conflict in Captain America.
Yeah.
Over the last two movies, really.
Yeah. A lot of shit's going down.
Yeah, the last two Captain America movies, and and then the Zemo guy kind of goes in as the infiltrates as this psychiatrist who's supposed to go in, and he ends up setting up this EMP to go off nearby that cuts out the entire electrical grid.
And he knows the keywords to control the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he gets his book for keywords to control the Winter Soldier because he's been brainwashed and everything like that, so he has key triggers. So he goes through the sentences, and Bucky knows what he's doing.
So he starts losing it.
Bucky's like, no,
and he's about to get him.
Yeah, and
he says the last word.
Yeah, he rips himself out of this chamber he's super strapped into, and he's like, no. And he's like freaking out, and he starts punching all the glass, and then just as he breaks out, the guy finishes this statement.
Yeah.
And in Russian, he's like, I'm ready.
Are you ready to... Soldier, are you ready to comply? Or something like
and he's
that.
like, I'm ready to comply. And so he says whatever he says to Bucky, you don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But then Bucky, of course, under his brainwashing, just fucks up everybody in this facility. And now this escape scene I really liked because everybody got involved. I mean, everybody's
without any gear.
Yeah, with no gear. Like they're all
minimal gear. Sorry.
Yeah, like they all kind of go hand to hand against.
Like I said, even Tony.
Yeah, I mean Tony doesn't have a suit.
Somewhat.
He had his little watch.
He had a watch that turns into a mini glove, which was pretty epic.
And you see him kind of doing a little hand to hand combat with the Winter Soldier.
I really loved when Black Widow walks up. Do you have a suit? He goes, yes, I have a 3-piece.
Yeah. Yeah, that was good. And but yeah, he's got that little Iron Man glove, and he literally stops a bullet right in front of his face because the Winter Soldier would have straight up killed him.
Yeah.
And he fucks up a whole bunch of people there. And I really like to see the new Agent Carter, Agent Hottie there.
Yeah.
Agent Hottie, I'm calling her now.
She was trying to take him out, didn't do so well, so then Black Widow came.
But her and Black Widow are both trying to fight him, and he fucking fucks it both up. Falcon fights him and does pretty good until he gets kicked across the room into a fucking wall. But yeah, Falcon did really good, and I'm really impressed because the two potentials for when Chris Evans leaves as Captain America because he has his contract deal, and
in the comics eventually Captain's done and gets taken over by
there's a few other people.
The other.
There's few other people who have played Captain America in the comic books, and one of them being Bucky Barnes and one of them being freaking the Falcon.
Falcon is actually
Sam Wilson.
the newest.
The newest.
They
Captain
just
America.
recently started releasing comics with Falcon being Captain America.
I think they've done a bit before, but yeah, like he also plays Captain America. And not having this super serum or anything like that, but both of them have been Captain America for a time because Captain America, Steve Rogers has died more than once because it's comic books and they come back to life.
Yeah.
But I mean, his film contract's coming up, and if he wants to stay on, if he doesn't, and I know Sebastian Stan has a pretty long movie deal with them, and I would not mind seeing him play Captain America. Yeah. I like him as an actor.
I would like to see Falcon become Captain America.
I would be okay with both.
Yeah, either or.
Or like Falcon become Captain America and Bucky be like the sidekick to that.
Yeah.
That would be really cool. And I really like the dynamic they get.
They hate each other.
They don't like
so much.
The new friend of Captain America versus the old friend of Captain America. There's a cute little scene that they have.
It's so funny.
Yeah. So yeah. Anyway, Bucky gets.
Can you move your seat? No.
Yeah. Can you move your seat up? No.
Or when he's just they're mid-fight and he goes, I don't like you.
I don't like you. But yeah, anyway, so Bucky breaks his way out again, and fucking Captain fights him and makes
Bunch
him,
of shit happens.
yeah, and drive underwater, and the whole this time they crash into the water, and Bucky smashes his head and is unconscious, and Captain saves his ass this time, pulls him out of the water, and they put his arm in this big ass vice, and this was the hidden scene at the end of Ant-Man. And his arm's in this big ass vice, and he wakes up and he's like, "Which Bucky are you?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Oh, your mom's name was this. You used to put newspapers in your shoes."
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, okay." And
Falcon's a little pissed. He's like, really?
Yeah.
Really? Now we're just going to listen to him?
yeah. And so Bucky's back, and they kind of get, and they now they're hunting the Zemo guy, and now of course the other heroes are hunting Cap,
Yeah.
and Bucky and Falcon. And so at this point is when they both kind of start recruiting people, and so Falcon says, "Okay, I know a guy."
Yeah.
And
Immediately you know who he's
you know it's
talking
Ant-Man.
about.
You know it's Ant-Man. Paul Rudd's coming in. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Because I really
Keeps
like
his comedic.
Yeah.
He's great.
Paul Rudd, hilarious in this, of course.
You know, he's like, oh, I know who you are. You're Steve, or you're Captain America.
I'm
Turns
shaking-
to Scarlet Witch. He goes,
I know you
I know
too.
you too.
You're cool too.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm shaking your hand too long.
Yeah.
It was really good. And I liked that little interaction. It was really short. But then Tony goes and recruits Peter Parker,
Yeah.
which was amazing. It was
Hitting on Aunt May.
Yeah, because Aunt May in this one is younger, very attractive.
Yeah.
And they live in an apartment, like in an apartment building rather than a house. But I'm sure they'll get into that because there's a new Spider-Man movie coming out, and apparently they still kind of have a contract deal. And Tony Stark's supposed to show up in this new Spider-Man movie, which I'm totally okay with.
Yeah. And I really like this kid as Spider-Man.
This kid, what was it?
Tom something.
It's here. I got the list here. Tom Holland. Sorry,
Yes.
I forget names. There's so many things
Yeah.
going on. But Tom Holland did a great job because when he was cast, a lot of people were like, no. I was
The main
like,
problem everybody had, they thought he was too young because everybody forgets Spider-Man's a 16-year-old kid.
Spider-Man is a kid. He's a child, and like that's who Spider-Man
Yeah.
is. Casting Tobey Maguire. I mean, Tobey Maguire was fucking mid to late 20s when he played a high school kid. Andrew Garfield, not as old, but again older, and just did the last bit of high school thing. And again, yes, they're going to be doing another Spider-Man remake. But the Spider-Man in this, I think Tom Holland did a great job balancing both characters.
Yep.
I mean, because a lot of times Tobey Maguire was the better Peter Parker. I think Andrew Garfield played a better Spider-Man. The cockiness, the jokiness. But this kid was funny.
Yeah, he was great.
He was nerdy. You could tell he was poor. He was dumpster diving for like.
Tony calls him out on it.
Yeah,
He's like, "Oh, you got all this old tech. Where'd you get it? You're a dumpster diver, aren't you?"
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
Straight up, I found this fucking DVD player. You know.
Comments on the fact that he made his own webbing.
Yes, I'm getting to that because he's like the webbing. What do you do? Where does it come from? And he looks at it and he's like the tensile strength of it, and he like pulls out
It's
a little
amazing.
jar of it, and he's like the tensile strength of this. He's like,
Who
"Where'd
made
you-
this?"
Who
He
made
goes,
this?
"I did."
I made it, and I really like that they're playing on the fact that he is
A genius.
A genius, and something they underplayed a little bit in the other Spider-Man stuff is that he was a genius. They played a little better in the Amazing Spider-Man with Andrew Garfield.
But not as good.
Not as good. And this, I mean, they did a great
They're
job.
showing he made his original web shooters.
Yeah.
He
Keep smashing into my desk. Sorry, new chair.
He uses his own webbing fluid he's created.
Yes, he created it, and
And then
I mean,
they're
rocking.
showing that he doesn't have a proper costume yet.
Yes.
And he's rocking what does he call Tony keeps calling him Mr. Onesie or something
Yeah,
like that.
calling it a onesie. It's not a onesie.
Yeah.
And then he wears
Making
goggles.
fun of his goggles. And he explains
Yes.
why he can't see through the goggles very well.
Or why? Yeah, Tony's like, can you even see through those? He's like, yes, I can. And he's like, and I really like that how they did this and how it explains why the suit. A lot of people were like, why did the suit change the focus thing on it? And I really like how they explained it. Because since I got these powers, it's there's so much going on at once.
It
They
helps
help me
him
focus. And I was like, that's great. I think that's a fantastic way to do it because you got to think with the senses he's gained from getting his spider abilities. Like his spider sense could be like going all the time, so it's always just like
Especially
a rush
since
of
he's
information.
still new to being Spider-Man.
Yes,
He doesn't know how to control it.
He said he's had it for 6 months in this
Yeah.
movie. He's been Spider-Man, like he's had these powers for 6 months.
Yeah.
And what I liked what they did with Spider-Man 2 in this is they talked about like he kind of says, you know, his ideologies when he speaks is more on Captain America's side, but it's fucking Iron Man recruiting him, so you don't say no. Because he's all like, you know, he's like,
And
oh,
he's like, oh my God, you're Tony Stark.
Tony Stark, and he's all freaking out because Tony Stark's in his house, and he's like, does this grant? And Tony Stark's like, making
Tony's
some
like,
bullshit.
yes, I have a grant for you.
And he's like, does this grant involve money?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, sure. I mean,
Yeah,
do you look who you're talking to? Of
Yeah.
course it involves money.
He's eating the snack and he spits it and he's like, I guess for whatever that was, it's okay.
He's like, for like a date almond loaf or whatever it was.
He's telling her it's the best thing he's ever had.
He's like, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's like, but gross when he listens it. It's like, that does not sound good. But yeah, and so I really like that. But when Spider-Man's speaking, I mean, he's like the bigger crime is like having these powers and not helping people.
Yeah.
He's like, that would be the bigger crime in it, and I really like that, and I like that, if you're paying attention, you notice that his ideology is more match Captain America, but he's following Iron Man recruits him, and he's following Iron Man a little more blindly, and then
even during the fight, they're like, do you even know why you're doing this? And he can't really say why.
He doesn't really have a reason. He's like, I'm listening to Mr. Stark. Like I'm listening to.
And I like that he calls him Mr. Stark.
Yeah, I'm listening to Mr. Stark. I'm just doing what I'm told.
Because he's a kid and he's respecting his elder.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, obviously he built him a new suit, and I really liked the suit in this.
Yeah.
Really.
It was like a mix of old and new.
Yeah.
It had some of the styling of the Amazing Spider-Man.
Of the old ones. Well, that was it, because it was like, I don't know, I really liked it. It was more of a classic style to his suit. I really liked it. I liked the way the focus on the eyes worked.
His eyes move.
I loved the way that his movements were perfect in this. They really played up his spider senses, which they've undercut a lot in some of the old movies.
He was making jokes and trying to converse with them, and at one point they call him out on it. They're like, during a fight, you don't really talk this much, right?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm sorry, I'm just really excited,
really
basically.
Excited. Yeah, so anyway, so after the little introduction to Peter Parker, it kind of leads into the big airport brawl, which is the big point in this movie. The big selling point in this movie is this big, huge brawl that happens at the airport. And I think this scene alone is one of the main reasons you should go see this movie. It was really great to watch all these characters fight, and watching how like a lot of these regular humans stand up to these
superheroes.
Because you look, Iron Man's team seems a hell of a lot more one-sided than Captain America's team. The big players on Cap's team are
Cap and Barney.
Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
I think she's the biggest player because I mean,
but
you look at
she's a big player.
Yeah, you look
when you see what she does to Vision.
Yeah, like what.
Good God.
My God, when Hawkeye comes in, when Clint comes in, and to get her, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, I think Hawkeye's in it just to be in it." And I was like, I don't know. I kind of
Hawkeye's great.
I didn't feel that he was just in it to be in it, honestly, because he's the one who got her to.
And he's Natasha's best friend.
Yes, he's Natasha's best friend. But I mean, he's also the one who convinced Scarlet Witch to go out and fight with the Avengers in Sokovia in Avengers 2. I mean, it's only fair, I think, that he's the one who coaxes her to come back and fight. Yeah, I think it was great that he was the one to come back and coax her to come out and
quote unquote save her
because she was beating herself up kind of a lot, and Vision was kind of keeping her in prison, but she didn't know until she wanted to leave.
Yeah,
and he didn't let her. Yeah, and then she kind of realized, but just accepted it as what was happening. I really like that he was the one who came and
how Vision calls him out like, you can't defeat me, and
he's
like, yeah, but she can.
Yeah, I know. And I really like that he thought ahead and he shoots these arrows and he's like, all right, let's go. And then he comes back and he gets him trapped in this like electrical charge thing, but Vision breaks out, and then she's all like, no, I'm going, and like shuts down the Mind Stone in his head, and then just fucking powers
him through like 8 stories.
Kamehameha's the dude right through the floor.
Yeah.
Just boom.
Clint kind of looks down the hole like, wow, shit.
Don't piss her off.
Hate to be her prom date.
Oh, that's bad. And we'll quote Deadpool, I'd hate to pressure her into prom sex.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Elizabeth Olsen's great, though.
Yeah, I mean, and the fact is, we both kind of just found out, like, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, and I was like, her last name's Olsen.
Is she one of the Olsen sisters?
Yeah.
And she is. She is the younger sister to Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen. And after finding that out, I was like, yeah, I totally see it.
Yeah, you see it immediately.
Yeah, you see it immediately. And, she did a great job. Her accent comes and goes, which was...
But it makes sense. She's been living in America now for however long.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You don't know how long it's been since...
But, I mean, she didn't speak a whole hell of a lot in the last movie, so, I mean, maybe she hasn't had time to develop it or whatever, but it was fine. It didn't take away from the character at all. Anything like that. It was still good. But anyway, so they all go, and then it comes down to this this scene at the airport.
Yeah.
And they're all kind of like doing they're trying to get to this plane, and then they're stopping them, and then the most slap in the face. Here's a visual for you. Like here's some fucking description. Vision just draws a line between them.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh yeah, that's symbolism.
Yeah.
not slapping us in the face with it or anything, but
Yeah.
literally draws a line to stop them all,
Yeah.
and then you have both lineups of people ready to fight. And I mean, so you got Captain, you got Black Widow, you got the
Falcon.
Iron Patriot, but he's not the Iron Patriot, he's War Machine
Oh, yeah.
again.
When am I talking about Falcon?
War,
Falcon's on
War
the
Machine,
outside.
Vision, and Black Panther, and Spider-Man. And on the other side, of course, you have your Captain America, you have Falcon, Scarlet Witch, Bucky Barnes as the Winter Soldier, and Hawkeye.
Yep.
And I love that, like, before they even start fighting, what does he call it? Underoos!
Yeah.
It's,
Underoos. Call it. I think he says Underoos, you're up, or does he just say Underoos?
I think he just yells Underoos. And I'm sorry, Ant-Man, too, is on Captain America's side.
Yeah.
And Ant-Man was great in this.
Oh
Because
yeah.
Ant-Man's not standing in the lineup with them.
No.
So Spider-Man comes and just yanks the shield, ties up Cap's hand, pulls the shield out, and he's holding the shield. Great shot. Loved
Yeah.
that shot. And then, fucking...
And he's even saying, "Oh, hi, Captain." I think
Yeah,
he
when,
says.
yeah, when
He's so excited to meet him.
Yeah,
Even though he's fighting him.
Spider-Man's like, oh, hi, Captain, and he's all excited. I mean...
He's a teenage boy.
He's a teenage boy, and he's now...
He's meeting his idols.
Yeah, he's now stuck in this situation, especially a hard situation to be stuck in. But he's just more excited
He's
to be
been a
there.
hero for 6 months, and he's meeting the Avengers.
Yeah, he's really excited just to be there. And the fact is, he's more powerful than most of them.
Yeah.
Like-
Well, he doesn't know it yet, obviously, because he's only been Spider-Man 6 months.
No, but I mean, even Tony kind of makes reference to him that he stops a truck going 40 immediately before it hits a bus, like picks it up, slams
Yeah,
it back
he's
down.
like, "That's impressive. That's difficult to do."
like three,
It's like Tony has a massive metal suit that he can do it with.
3 tons, and a 40-mile-per-hour car just stops it, picks
Yeah.
it up, and is like, Tony's like, that's impressive.
Yeah.
And but anyway, and they really don't underplay Spider-Man's strength, which is something I felt they've done in other Spider-Man
Yeah.
movies. It was because you forget that he now has the strength of a spider, and spiders are extremely strong for their
Equivalent
size.
of a spider.
Yeah, equivalent of a spider, and for his size. So I mean, he could like literally obliterate a person in a punch.
Yeah.
Like just demolish them and blow
That's
them
why
up.
he always pulls his
He
punches.
pulls his punches, and if you're a comic book fan, you know it. Like he makes reference to pulling his
Yeah.
punches a lot. But yeah, and anyway, so the fight scene's great. I mean, you watch a lot of, and I mean, there was a few almost kill shots in this, and Scarlet Witch
Yeah.
saves them.
Yeah.
Like Scarlet Witch, like literally saved people at like the last second.
On
and-
both sides, I'm
on
pretty
both
sure.
sides, yes. And I really liked that
They
Black
all get
Widow.
a little carried away.
They did, and I liked that when Black Widow and Hawkeye were fighting.
He says, "Are we still friends?"
Yeah, or are we still
Or
friends?
is it she
She
says
says, "Are we still friends?" And he's like, "Depends on how hard you hit
That's
me."
what it was.
It was
yeah.
really good. But I
Joking
really
a little bit
Scarlet
still.
Witch kind of fucks up Black Widow a little bit, and she's like, "You're pulling your punches to
Yeah.
Hawkeye," and he's like, "Eh."
Yeah.
That was really good, and I mean the part where fucking Ant-Man hands him this little truck.
Yeah.
He's like, throw this. He's like, throw that at this, and he throws the
His little
the
maximizing disc.
maximizing disc at it, and he throws the truck, and he
It
throws it at frickin' War Machine, and
blows
it
up.
blows
everywhere.
up.
He's like, "I thought it was a water truck."
Yeah, I thought it was a water truck. And like Black Widow was nearby, so like she could have died, and like
Yeah.
like there was a lot of almost accidents in that fight.
Yeah.
And then Spider-Man and Falcon, or Spider-Man fighting Falcon and Winter Soldier
By himself.
by himself, and I mean he kicks Winter Soldier, and Winter Soldier goes to punch him, and he just stops the metal arm like it's nothing. He's like,
And
"You
he's
have a
like,
metal arm?
yeah.
That's so cool!" And then
Yeah.
Falcon just boosh flies
Yeah.
into him.
But he easily, if Falcon didn't have, what did he call his little Redbird or whatever? Remember he made
Oh, the
comic-
little bird thing, the little Red Wing or whatever you called it. Yeah,
I think it was Red Wing, and
Yeah.
she's like, "I'm not calling it Red Wing."
I'm not calling it that. You could just pet him, like
Yeah,
a Black
yeah.
Widow bit. Yeah,
But yeah, if he didn't have that, Spider-Man would have won against them
yeah, and he
very easily.
Yeah, and he luckily smashed him in the face with it, and discombobulated him or whatever. But yeah, no, all the individual fight scenes in this and the big fight scene. I mean, it was great. This scene was just very well done. And then so again, now we have to actually advance the plot again after this fight that's going on and still going on.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, we have to get Captain and Bucky out of here
Yeah.
and get them to go confront the real bad guy in this movie. And
So they try to run off.
and then
They
they're like,
fight.
yeah, and they're like, okay, so Ant-Man's like, okay, I have a plan. He's like, I'm gonna do a thing. He's like, well, I only did it once, and it was in a lab, and when I did it, I passed out. But
No, he goes, "I do it all the time." Like, oh, okay. Well, actually,
I did
I've
it-
only done it once in a lab, and I passed out.
yeah, and I get really excited because I like Ant-Man.
Yeah.
And I know he's becoming Giant Man. I'm like, yes, I was really hoping they were gonna put this in. I
Yeah.
understand why they didn't put it in the Ant-Man movie, but I was really because people forget it's like Ant-Man and Giant Man, technically different like superhero names he goes
Yeah.
by for the two of them because they're two different powers. because when he miniaturizes himself, it like all his molecules become more dense and everything like that. But when he if he were to maximize himself in that situation, technically that disperses his molecules more, and the way he grows bigger isn't that way because then he would just float away and he'd be super fragile at that point. And he does it like when he becomes Giant Man, it's a different molecular change in the body. So I really thought that was cool. And that's a whole other science talk for another day.
Yeah.
But then he turns into Giant Man, grabs freaking War Machine out of the sky, and he's all excited and giddy in the suit, and like
Iron Man's like, does anybody else have any kind of secret things that they can do that they're holding out? It'd be really nice.
It'd be really nice right now. And then,
or actually, he says, does anyone on our side have that?
Anybody on our side? And then, so he starts fucking them all up for a little bit. And Cap and Bucky start running towards the plane. And Spider-Man is hilarious. Anybody see that really old movie, The Empire Strikes Back? And they're all like, how old is this kid? Iron Man's like, I don't know, a little on the young side.
Yeah.
and then he starts wrapping himself around Giant Man's legs, and everyone's like, "Oh,
he's like, remember when they're all on that ice planet?
Yeah, that snow planet." Oh my god!
And they're like, "I think I get where he's coming from."
And the inner Star Wars nerd in me is hurting at this point, but laughing at the same time.
He's so not descriptive about it right at all.
I know, and I'm like Hoth with the AT-AT, and he's like, "Oh, I was."
It was bugging me a little bit too.
Yeah, my inner Star Wars nerd was like,
"Wow!"
But no, I get it for the joke. It was great.
Yeah.
It was really good. And so anyway, so they kind of knock him down, and then he shrinks himself back down to him. He's like, takes his mask off, and his suit changed a little bit in this one. Like the whole mask part popped off this time rather than doing that little discombobulate thing it did in the last one. It was okay. I mean,
I like his old suit better.
It seemed a little more CG.
Yeah.
In this one rather than practical.
I think it's supposed to be they're like, oh well, we're updating his suit.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
But it seemed a little more CG than practical. I mean, but the budget on this one, I mean, Iron Man suits have been CG forever. I mean, he's normally just standing there with like shoulder pads and that weird helmet piece on, and everything else is CG.
Well, and this time he was constantly just making his helmet come off.
Yeah,
for no
come
reason.
straight off. It was just more to show it off, and you didn't have to wear that restricting helmet anymore. Yeah. It's hot. It's uncomfortable. But yeah, so like it just kept coming off. Anyway,
it seemed smaller too. Didn't it?
I don't know.
The suit seemed more form.
The CG of the suit in this one, it just didn't feel as.
No, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel as impressive.
Yeah,
you look at War Machine, you're like, that's War Machine.
It looked more CG than before. It was more noticeable that his Iron Man suit in this one was CG. Yeah. War Machine still looked fine.
Yeah.
Because he's pretty much just in the suit in this one. But anyway, so Captain America and Bucky get in the ship and start to take off, or are going to the ship, and then Black Panther chases him down, and kind of starts fighting them. And Bucky's like, I didn't kill him. And he's like, then why did you run?
Yeah.
And I like that. That was a great line. But Black Widow kind of lets Captain America and Bucky get away. She starts stunning.
Kind of does her old, I'm a double agent.
Yeah. Because she is still friends with Captain America and everything like that.
Yeah.
And anyway, so she kind of lets him go and stops the Black Panther. But the Black Panther, anyway, so the fight gets away, and then they start to take off, and then Tony and Rhodey take off after the plane, and Falcon goes to try and stop them. So and Vision ends up shooting this beam out of his head.
Vision's distracted because Scarlet Witch was hurt.
Yeah. And they kind of build it up in this that he's kind of got this attraction towards her, and
I think we mentioned already. He's kind of like a little bit of a perv stalking on her.
Yeah, he's developed
not on purpose because he doesn't know human interaction, but
and he states about the amygdala, and he's like, mine's synthetic, and all this other stuff about why people fear her and why he
tries to cook for her.
Yeah, he tries to do all these things, and you can tell he's developed a connection towards her romantically or not.
He cares for her.
It seems like they might be leaning a little towards the romantic side in that.
But either way, he just cares.
He cares for her. And that distracts him, and he shoots at Falcon. But Falcon just dodges that shit because he's fucking Falcon.
He just drops his wings.
Yeah, he's like, whoop, out of the way, and it just nails War Machine right through the chest, like right through his arc reactor in his chest, and he just plummets out of the sky. What I really liked about
Falcon went for him as well.
Falcon flew after him too, and both him and Tony are flying to try and
just missed it.
Yeah, and he just smashes into the ground, and Falcon lands a minute or so afterwards because Iron Man's down there and holding him, pulls the mask right off Rhodey, and Rhodey's like bleeding in the face, but they say his vitals are still good. So nobody died in this movie, which was good. I mean, I think they could have added another level if they had killed somebody.
But
who?
They can't make money, then they can't make another movie.
Yeah, but who do you kill?
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, so then Falcon comes, and he's like,
apologizing.
I'm sorry, and then Iron Man just blasts
Basically,
him.
fuck you, bam.
He just blasts him down, and
Tony really shows.
and
his
this is where Tony starts,
emotions
like, and
in
this
one.
kind of starts, and you can see that, like,
He's also going through a lot of shit with Pepper.
yeah,
Pepper
left him.
broken up.
Yeah, Pepper's left him or whatever. They don't
Because
really
of
talk
the
about it.
whole in the third movie, he destroyed all his suits. He's got suits again.
Yeah, and but then he keeps kind of going back. He can't stay out of the suits and everything.
He mentions that he can't stop.
he can't stop it. Yeah,
And that this whole thing with him going with the registration thing is, or I mean, not registration. I'm talking about the comics again.
yeah.
Going with the.
You can call it registration because essentially the Sokovia Amendment, where they
Basically,
essentially because in the comic books they have to register themselves as superheroes, so they all have to give up their secret identities
Yeah.
to the government. So
anyway.
yeah.
So part of his reason for it, he says, is that
It'll-
he has a way to justify having the suits.
Yeah, well, not only that,
So
but
that Pepper-
so then he can't get too carried away in the suits and the stuff, and
And-
he's controlled by the government. So it brings him down to a middle ground where hopefully it doesn't
Hopefully
fuck up
Pepper
everything.
will be okay with it.
Yes, and it brings
And he
him.
talks about how he doesn't know how his mom always kept his dad center.
Yeah, and he mentions that. Yeah, she always kept Dad straight.
Yeah.
And she could always stand him, like she always.
And
Stayed.
again, big focal point in this is that Tony can't let go of his parents dying.
Yeah, and
And the fact that he didn't say "I love you" to his dad before he saw him leave.
yeah, and a bigger factor in this too. And like Tony mentions that he's like, yeah, he like Captain America mentions that he knew Tony's dad
Yeah.
before he met the mom, and
And Tony
And-
said that he always hated him.
he always hated him for it. I want to punch in your pretty little or your perfect little teeth, or
Yeah.
your perfect teeth, because he's
Obviously, they developed a friendship
he's like
eventually,
I
but-
hated you because my dad
Yeah.
talked about you all the time. I
Yeah.
hated you. But anyway, so back to that. And then so Iron Man is back, goes back, and they've imprisoned all the other superheroes, like pretty maximum
On the
security
raft.
on the raft.
Which was a major Shield prison.
Yeah.
They mention it actually in Agents of Shield.
Okay,
I'm pretty sure they say that they're going to try and go and find the raft. At one point.
Okay, I haven't. Watched,
I'm not caught up. I'm way behind. But
I haven't watched it all. I tried to watch the first couple episodes. Wasn't really that interested. Haven't
I
watched Agents of Shield. But anyway, so now a big thing for me is, I mean, Clint has a family and everything like that. They've just locked him up. They've locked them all up.
Yep.
In this like pretty crazy maximum facility prison. Tony goes and talks to everybody. Like he kind of goes in there and talks to them, and
disables their security.
for a second he disables the audio so he can find out where Cap and Bucky are
Because
going.
he's realized that Bucky was falsely accused.
Yeah, he now understands because they found in Zemo's apartment thing that he
was staying in a hotel.
he killed the actual psychologist that was
Yeah.
supposed to come in and interview the Winter Soldier
And had disguised
himself as
Bucky.
as Bucky in that whole 2 seconds of walked near the truck.
Yeah.
and so Captain America, Iron Man, Tony Stark realizes that he was kind of in the wrong there.
Yeah.
And he goes in and kind of Clint gives him a hard time. Hawkeye gives him a hard time about.
Basically, they're all like, "Go fuck yourself."
Yeah, and Falcon, he goes to Falcon. He's like, I need to know where they're going. He's like I would fucking help you.
Yeah.
And then he blocks the audio. He's like, I've blocked their audio. They're only gonna it's only gonna last for about a minute. And he's like, you have to tell me where they're going. I want to go help as a friend.
Yeah.
And he's like,
He says you have to go alone and as a
yeah,
friend.
yeah. And he's like, I want to go and help. And he's like, you have to go alone. You have to go as a friend. And he's like, yeah. And so anyway, so he gives the information, and then Tony gets back in his helicopter, starts to fly away, sticks his finger in a cigarette lighter, and falls out the
Yeah.
back in an Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, Black Panther's hiding in his own little jet and follows Tony.
Yeah.
So then,
Black Panther's basically the Batman of Marvel.
yes, and so and a badass at that.
Yeah.
And and then another point that we're just going to touch on now is that Zemo was looking for these other Winter Soldiers. Bucky makes a point that there's these other Winter Soldiers that are kind of more crazy than he is, and they've given
They
him,
were already top Hydra agents.
well, and they'd given them this serum, and it kind of fucked with
Yeah.
them, and they were all super strong and all this other crazy.
For
shit.
some reason, I'm thinking it's something from
Agents
of Shield
that they've touched on.
where there was this alien blood that I'm pretty sure was blue that they gave to certain people that made them stronger and more enhanced and things like that.
Hmm.
I'm thinking that might be the same stuff.
Well, I know that a big thing for the MCU is that they really do tie into their show. Well, maybe not so much the Netflix ones, but they do. Netflix
Yeah.
shows make reference to what's happened in the bigger Marvel universe. But I know Agents of Shield is supposed to tie into the
Yeah,
movies.
big time.
I just haven't watched Agents
Yeah.
of Shield, but I believe that 100%.
I think that actually
Is
I realized
is
it
what
when I
was.
saw that the liquids were blue. I think, is that same stuff? Might be, might not be.
So, as somebody who hasn't watched Agents of Shield, that's something just kind of went above my head. They don't touch on it. They don't talk about
No.
it at all. So again, that's just
Might be
more,
one of those Easter egg things that eventually they'll explain.
yeah, for people who watch Agents of Shield. Like I know there was things in Agents of Shield that made like
Reference to the Avengers.
the Avengers: Age of Ultron. Like there was quite a few.
Yeah.
Like the bad guy in that at the very beginning was in the show a lot.
Yeah.
Was the main bad guy of the show and blah blah blah. Blah. But anyway, so and you think that Zemo's gonna go and like release these Winter Soldiers and control all of them? Bucky makes reference that they can control them, kind of.
And I'm sorry, got to admit, it was absolutely hilarious to see Bucky walking around scoping out like a SWAT member with a friggin' gun, and Captain's like, "I have my shield,"
Yeah.
following behind him.
Yeah. And then Tony shows up and is like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm here to help. Blah blah blah. They can't know I'm here. If they knew I was here, blah 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 blah."
I'd have to arrest myself.
I'd
he
have to
says.
arrest myself. Yeah. And so they're like, "All right, cool." Or like, and then that he calls Bucky the Manchurian Candidate. He's like, "Manchurian Candidate, put the gun down."
Because Bucky, he's like, "We're cool," and Bucky's still aiming at him.
And Captain Steve's like, "It's okay," and he's like, "Oh, puts the gun down." But for anybody who's seen the Manchurian Candidate, that's fucking hilarious. I'm sure you haven't.
No.
Because I'm a big movie guy, right? Oh, fucking hilarious. Because I really like that movie. It's a very long movie. If you're going to watch it, it's a very long movie. But that's it. It's all about brainwashing and stuff. And so that was funny. And then they kind of get into that chamber where Zemo's got the other 5 Winter Soldiers, and he's killed them all.
Yep.
So I mean, there was a plot point they were
Well,
building.
killed them all while they were sleeping.
Yeah, he's like, "I killed them while they were sleeping."
He's not great. He didn't release them and kill them.
No,
They were all in their
Yeah,
tanks.
killed them in their hibernation. Just shot them all in the head. And it's like, okay.
And they're all like, "Why would he do this?"
Yeah, they thought that he was going to use them, and then he's behind this big protective
Yeah.
barrier thing.
Because originally they built the shelter to withstand nuclear war.
Like to withstand rockets taking off out of there. So like
Yeah.
he's like, your shield's not gonna fucking break through this.
Yeah.
And then he makes this video play, and this video is of the car crash that we saw the Winter Soldier go to at the beginning of the movie. And Tony's like, I know this street,
Yeah.
I know that car. And then it shows that Bucky, because it showed him get that blue serum at the beginning of the movie, which made the other Winter Soldiers. But it showed that Bucky killed Tony Stark's parents. He
Both
killed
of them.
he killed them both.
And it wasn't his father that pissed him off. He said, he killed my mother.
Yeah, because he beats the fuck out of the dad's face and kills him
And
puts him back
Tony's
in the car and just goes
Little mad.
Yeah, and he's like freaking out, and then he just goes and strangles the mother and like puts his hand on her throat, and it just shows him strangling the life out of
And
her.
Tony
And
loses
Tony
it.
snaps. And
Understandably.
and he snaps, and he's ready to fucking kill Bucky.
He's almost ready to kill Captain America to get to Bucky.
And not only that, he asks Steve. He's like, "Did you know?"
And Steve tries to dodge the question.
And he's like, "No, did you know?" And he's like, "Yes." And then so fucking Iron Man starts literally he starts going and he starts trying to kill Bucky.
Yeah.
And so
And if Steve gets in the way, he does
and
not
Steve
care.
tells Bucky to run, and
Yeah.
Steve keeps trying to stop. And it's this really cool little fight chase bit that
Yeah.
goes on up this.
They
like,
keep trying to disable parts of the suit.
yeah, like they take out like a hand, and then he
And then
takes
they take
out one of the
foot, so they can't fly proper.
Yeah, like Bucky crushes one of the hands. Cap takes out one of the feet with a shield, and Tony's still going, is fucking
Yeah.
fighting his way up. And it was
At one point, even his targeting sensors are done. He's like, "Screw it, I'm eyeballing it."
yeah,
He makes the
makes
head
his
come
mess
off.
go down,
he
shoots a
shoots.
rocket off, and closes the big missile hatch
Yeah.
thing that's coming that Bucky was going to escape out of. So they all get, and they all drag. Then they drag him down to the ground, and then
He's pissed.
yeah, and then there's that crazy fight scene, which you've seen a little bit of the trailer. That crazy fight scene between the three of them, where like Bucky and Cap are straight up like kind of fucking up Iron Man.
Wailing on him with the shield.
Like
and
passing the
I
shield.
loved that.
Yeah, passing the shield
Great
back and
scene.
forth. Like honestly, the two of them work together.
Yeah.
So
And
well.
you could totally see he is the next Captain America.
like he could be. Yeah, he very.
The way he was tossing that shield like that.
Yeah, like he knew what he was doing, and again, he's amazing. And the way he was tossing the shield back and forth, and it was great. And then Cap kind of gets knocked back, and Bucky's fighting him, and then Bucky grabs his arc reactor in the chest and is trying to pull it off with his metal arm. And then Iron Man releases a blast and blows off Bucky's metal
from
arm.
the chest. He uses his Uni beam, I think. He
Yeah,
calls it.
right from the chest, and blows off Bucky's arm.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit. And then
Captain starts wailing on him.
yeah, and then and Tony starts.
Friday literally says, "You can't win,
Yeah.
sir."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Friday, analyze his attack patterns.
Yeah, and then
And then he just fucking destroys him.
Yeah, and like just beats the shit. Stop farting. I can hear you. This could probably hear you.
Little.
But yeah, and then Steve gets up and he does that bit from the first Captain America movie. I could do this all day. And I was like, yeah, throwback. And
Tony was honestly gonna kill him to get to Bucky.
he was ready.
He was at the edge of a cliff.
Like he was ready
and
to.
He held up his hand to blast.
And
But Bucky stopped him.
yeah. And then Steve just starts wailing away on Tony.
He basically said, "Fuck it, I'm stopping you."
Yeah, and just starts wailing and wailing and wailing.
It almost looks like he's going for a
kill. He picks
kill.
up the shield and is like, it looks like he's gonna come down and just fucking kill him.
And Captain's like, Tony's like,
Tony-
shit!
Tony was like that, and he just hammers the shield right into the middle of the arc reactor,
Yeah.
and it's lodged in there. And then Tony's like losing power to the suit; he can barely move. And then they left it, hovered on that scene, that image for a minute of the shield in the arc reactor, and I was really impressed that they didn't use that. I'm really glad they didn't use that.
Would be a massive spoiler. If you
Kind of thing, but
wouldn't
it
know,
was great imagery. It was a great
Yeah.
image. It was awesome, and it kind of culminates the movie in this
Yeah.
point.
that'd be a very good like box art,
It would be a great box art for the movie.
like a sleeve for a special edition.
Yeah. That it was just a beautiful imagery. That's the inner film nerd in me. Just that was a beautiful shot. And then I really like the line too before everything. He's like after he blows the arm off, he's like, he was my friend. He's my friend. He's like, so was I.
Yeah,
Like Captain America or Iron Man's like, so was I.
yeah. Because Steve says, he's my friend.
Yeah.
And Tony's like, so was I.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're pitting friend against friend against. You
Yeah.
know, and it's
It,
like,
it becomes it became you had to pick sides, and I'm sorry, do you pick your best friend or your new friend
Yeah.
that you always fucking clash heads with anyway?
Yeah. And they showed that these two are always going to butt heads.
Yeah.
No matter how much they seem to finally get along,
Yeah.
it's never going to change.
No. And then, so Cap picks Bucky up and grabs the shield and goes to leave, and Tony's like, no, that shield does not belong to you.
Yeah.
My father made that shield.
And Captain
and-
basically says, fuck it, and just drops it.
And he just
Well,
looks,
doesn't say fuck
he
it.
looks
Captain
back,
doesn't swear.
he looks back
Watch
and
your
just,
mouth,
and
right?
he looks back and just drops the shield.
Yeah.
Like he's done.
Yeah,
He's done.
Does not care.
And leaves. And then,
Tony goes back to the compound.
and there's one more scene because remember Zemo is up on top of
Right.
at the facility, and he's like sitting there holding the gun, and you don't know.
And you had found out at this point that
No, because then Black Panther comes out and he's listening to a message on his phone.
you had already found out though at this point that his family had all died.
This is where you find out.
Oh, okay.
This is the scene you found out.
Or you find out he was in Sokovia.
Yeah, he was in Sokovia. You kind of knew he was there. They mentioned
Yeah.
that he's from there. But yeah, it turns out that they weren't even near the
He's
city.
literally just some guy.
Yeah, he was just some guy. He was near the city. He was a
Well,
soldier.
he
and-
was a soldier.
He was a soldier and stuff too. But he wasn't even in the city. They were miles away from the city. But the whole
His-
debris and everything like that, it killed his family. He lost his son. He lost his wife.
And his father.
His father was, when they found the bodies, his father was
2
still
days later, he
was
found
still holding them.
Yeah.
And they were all
and he
dead.
just blamed the
He
team.
blamed the Avengers. He's like they came and they did their thing and
And he said
they
he
left.
knew there was no way he'd be able to stop them without making them destroy themselves.
Make them destroy themselves. Yeah, and that was the big thing about taking them down from the inside. And then I really like that Black Panther. He's like you spent your life here searching for revenge, and at this point in the movie, so had Black
Yeah.
Panther, and Black Panther had overheard that it was Zemo who
Yeah.
actually killed the father.
So he'd given up on
Yeah,
trying to
and
get Bucky.
he realized that he was in the wrong, and he goes and Zemo's like goes to kill himself with a gun, and Black Panther fucking stops him.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, you're not done living yet.
Humanity's not done with you, I think.
Yeah,
is what he
humanity's
says.
not done with you yet. And then they imprison him. And I really liked, and I didn't mention this earlier, Martin Freeman's in this movie from The Hobbit, who played the young Bilbo Baggins.
Okay.
Martin Freeman. Anyway, he was in Sherlock, big British actor. I'm a big fan of his. I love him. He's a great actor. And he didn't get a lot of screen time in this, and it was really weird to hear him with the American accent. But I was really happy to see him.
Oh,
on
the
this.
guy that was in charge of the raft.
Yeah, and he's sitting in the room afterwards. Yeah, that's Martin Freeman. And it was really good to see that. And I haven't watched the Fargo series yet, and I know he's got his American accent in that. So I haven't watched that yet. I know it's good. I want to go watch it. But yeah, so I throw it to him. But yeah, and then so yeah, you were saying Tony's back on the.
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Avengers. In the
Tony
Avengers,
goes back to the Avengers compound.
Yeah, the Avengers compound, and he's kind of leading. Well, it's pretty much just him and the Vision, and it turns out
He's helping Rhodey. Rhodey's
yeah,
paralyzed.
Rhodey became paralyzed after
from
the
the waist
fall.
down.
Well, not paralyzed, but
They said paralyzed.
yeah, he's got
So Tony made him a
like robotic legs.
leg exoskeleton.
Yeah, and it looks like that he can still be War Machine because of course the suit's
Yeah.
powered and he's got these exoskeleton leg things. So it like he's starting to try and walk and everything like that. So it's pretty much just him, War Machine, and Vision at this point.
Yeah.
Are the only people left.
True Avengers.
The only ones left, and then Cap goes and breaks. He sends Tony a letter.
He sends Tony a letter through FedEx. Stanley made his appearance.
Yeah, Stanley as the
Always
FedEx
has
guy.
to make his appearance.
Tony
right?
Stank.
Yeah.
You're looking for Tony Stank.
And Rhodey's like, "You're never living that one
Yeah,
down."
he's like, "I'm never-
Can I get a table for? I've got a table here for Mr. Stank."
It's near the bathroom.
Yeah.
That was really good. That was funny.
Yeah.
I'm never letting you live this down.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Stanley gets his cameo near the end, and it was funny. And but yeah, and he sends Tony a letter, and he's like, "I'm sorry it went this way," and all that other stuff. And
Basically, he's trying to say that he is still his friend.
yeah, and like that's
He's
it.
trying to redeem the friendship, and he tells Tony, he's like, "Honestly, the Avengers have always been more yours than mine."
Yeah. He's like, "You're the leader now."
Yeah, basically.
Essentially, he states that he's like, "I'm done with the Avengers. They're yours
Yeah.
now." And
Mind you, the Avengers are all in jail.
Yeah, and so Steve goes and breaks them out.
Yeah.
And it shows him on the raft, and he goes to break everybody out, and that's kind of the end of the movie.
Basically,
That's pretty much the end of the movie, and then there's 2 after credit scenes. But my big thing on this is now, because now he's breaking them out, they're going to be fugitives.
All of them are fugitives.
Not
like, just vigilantes.
no,
fugitive
they're
vigilantes.
international fugitives
Yeah.
at this point because of
Against the UN.
yeah, international fugitives, and that's a big thing because I mean Hawkeye and his family. I mean, what's going to happen to him? The other ones, it's not as big of a deal because
Natasha didn't end up. She's with.
yeah, but I mean it's
Oh
not,
no! But Tony says they're going to come for you because they know that you helped.
yeah.
But really, Clint's the only one that has.
And that's kind
anything
of
to lose.
my big thing is like, oh fuck, what's going to happen to Clint? I mean,
Yeah.
if he's an
He was just a
international
guy trying to help his friend.
what are they going to do? His family?
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen? And that, like, I think that they're going to have to do something pretty big. I mean, the next big one coming is Infinity War. So, I mean, I don't know if they're going to deal with the repercussions of Civil War
Probably not.
in any other movie. I think it's just going to kind of come to this.
Because is there even another Captain movie or anything like that before Infinity
I
War?
don't think so. I know Black Panther.
I know
so
Black
They
Panther.
might do something in Black Panther, which would be good.
Especially because of the final scene.
Yeah, the final after credit scene where
They
like
show that Bucky is.
Bucky.
He decides he's going to go back into hibernation because he can't
until they
control himself.
until they can unscramble his brain because
Yeah.
he's like, if I can still be controlled like that, I mean,
He doesn't
I'm
wanna
a
deal with
danger.
it, yeah.
I'm a danger to
And they're
everybody.
obviously on some private island owned by Black Panther.
Well, they're in Wakanda.
Yeah, but they're in a jungle somewhere that's obviously.
Yeah, and they're in this facility, and they freeze him, and Cap's there with them.
Yeah. And
So
it seems as though now Black Panther's going to be the funder of, I guess you could say, like the new Avengers.
yeah, whatever Cap's team does, is they form a team, or if they just stay in hiding. We don't know. But yeah,
For
so
Infinity War, they all just going to be best friends again because they have to go and deal with what's going on. Like,
I mean, Guardians 2 is coming out too.
Yeah.
Which I'm really interested to see what they're gonna do with this one.
but really, there's not. I don't think there's any other
Big movies.
coming
where they're gonna
out
have-
for any of the heroes that are in this one.
No, but I mean Infinity War, because with the Infinity Gauntlet, I mean Thanos getting all that power, he can literally rewrite all, and he does in the comic book in the Infinity War, like literally destroys humanity and can bring it back, and he literally controls all of time and space essentially.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're ever going to really come back to this because it was a pretty deep story, and I really would like to see it elaborate more. Like as I said, I think it would have been a little better as 2 separate movies.
Yeah.
Because I would have liked to have seen them deal more with the repercussions of the Civil War. But all in all, it was good. It wasn't great. I have my issues. My main issue is that I would have liked to see more individual attention in a practical Civil War movie than Captain America Civil War, where you have the Captain and Bucky story like in the forefront, but all that Civil War stuff going on, and some of it seemed to just kind of fall to the wayside. And I really would have liked to see a little more attention to certain characters, like Wanda Romanoff. I mean, she was great in this, and I really would like.
And they showed that. Yeah, no, it's Wanda Maximoff.
Maximoff Romanoff. I'm sorry, I'm tired. I meant to say Maximoff. I know it's not Romanoff. Obviously, that's Black Widow. But yeah, no, I would have liked to see a little more with Wanda.
And as they've shown, she is
She's
a powerhouse.
She's fucking OP.
She is like Phoenix 2.0.
Yeah, she's
well, I guess
powerful.
not 2.0 because Phoenix is like
Phoenix
I'm gonna
is
fucking
Phoenix.
murder everybody in the world.
But yeah, no, like that's it. She's super powerful, and I would have liked to see more of an internal struggle with her, especially when she found out that she was kind of being held prisoner.
yeah,
But yeah, Vision, Paul Bettany is the Vision. He didn't play too big of a part in the movie.
no, not 100%.
Even in the fight, you didn't see a whole lot of him.
A lot of the people, it was basically the whole movie was like
Cap versus Iron Man.
Iron Man. And then they just sprinkled in some extra
Had
shit.
in everybody else, but still, favorite part of this movie, Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Hands down, Spider-Man was my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah. I'm very much looking forward to the new Spider-Man.
Yeah, me too. I'm very much.
I was a little on
to
the fence beforehand. I was like, I don't know about this kid, and then saw this and I really liked it.
I really hope Sony doesn't fuck it up this time, especially after like if they're like they're sharing licensing on this and how it goes, or if he's going to come back. I don't know if he's because at the end of the movie it's like Spider-Man will return.
Yep.
But they don't state whether it's going to be returning to his own Spider-Man movie or if he's going to be returning in the MCU.
Yeah.
Well,
we know he's coming back for the Spider-Man movie.
Yeah,
Obviously.
no, but I mean, I don't know if that's what they mean because
or if
technically
he's going to be in Infinity Wars.
That's it. Is he going to be in
I hope
Infinity
he
War?
is.
Parts 1 and 2, we don't know.
It'd be great.
It would be.
But
And expect when Infinity War comes out, lots of people are going to die.
yeah.
But then they're going to come back because of the Infinity Stones. So
Well, they'll do the same thing. Like, and I have a feeling that Infinity War is going to be how they're going to reset the whole universe to be able to do what they want to do.
If that's what they want to do, like they did with
Like
the
what they
X-Men.
did with Last Stand.
X-Men, yeah. Last
Or not Last Stand.
well,
it's been a long day.
Days of Future Past.
Yeah, it's been a long day.
I know. It has been for both of us. But yeah, Spider-Man was on point in this. The humor in this movie was really good. A lot of great humor beats in this.
When,
the action scenes were all really
When
well.
Carter makes fun of him for driving the Beetle.
Oh yeah, it's inconspicuous. That was funny. You move the seat forward?
Yeah.
No. He just shuffles over.
Yeah.
It was good.
Gives her the kiss, and they're both looking like, yeah.
Yeah, they both turn around and both
Both of them were like, yeah.
both fucking Sam Wilson and Bucky are staring at him. They're both like, and he's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great, and I would have liked to seen a little more poking fun between the two of Sam and Bucky, kind of poking fun at each other.
Because everything they did was great.
Yeah, and I mean they fought well together when they fought together.
Yeah.
I would have liked to seen a little more maybe cockiness and jokiness between the two of them would have been fun, which I think they could have established more in more of a Captain America story.
Yeah. And again, like I loved Paul Rudd as Scott Lang.
Oh
yeah, man.
Paul Rudd was great. His little cameo, turning into Giant Man, was awesome.
Yeah.
But his Ant-Man bits in that too, when he's fucking up
When he
Tony's suit.
shrunk down, fucked
In
up
Tony's suit. And he's,
I'm your conscience.
Yeah,
I know you don't hear from me very often anymore.
that was good.
He's asking Friday, what's that voice? Who is that?
Yeah, who is that voice? It's your conscience. It was funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, lots of great comedic beats. And that fight scene, I think the comedy and the fight scenes in this are more than enough reason to go see the movie.
Yeah.
Just don't expect.
Going open-minded.
Yep. Open-minded.
Don't be like this is going to be the best movie ever, because you're going to disappoint yourself.
Well, truthfully, I was more impressed with The Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
I felt it was a much better cinematic experience, much better story.
I'd much rather just watch Ant-Man again.
Ant-Man was great.
Honestly.
Ant-Man was great. But yeah, so all in all, that's our thoughts and our talk and breakdown about the movie, what we liked, what we didn't like, essentially. So please, in the comments down below, let us know what you guys thought. What you like, what were some of your favorite parts? What parts didn't you like? Where do you think we're fucking idiots?
Remember, this one is for the spoilers.
Yeah, all your spoiler comments,
Not the other
anything you
one.
guys want to hash out with me or Justin or both of us, leave in the comments down below. We will get back to you as soon as we can. And, if you guys want to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But yeah, so please let us know what you thought of the movie at the very least. If you guys go see it, let us know what you thought. And share your comments with us and everybody else here who watches, because, one or two people watch these videos a week, maybe. Whenever I post them, I get a couple of views, not many, but a couple. And I really would like to have that discussion with you guys, like see what my friends who watch and some of the people that I'm not so close with who watch, or viewers that I don't know who are watching. I would really like to see what you guys thought of this, because it's a huge thing. I think in movies right now, is superhero movies are huge in the industry.
Awesome.
And this movie was supposed to be this big cornerstone of everything to come next, and it fell flat a little bit for me.
Another thing I found hilarious was, remember, you pointed out when we got there that We wore DC shirts
Yeah,
to a Marvel movie.
we both wore DC shirts to.
I did it by accident.
He did it by
I
accident.
didn't realize we wearing Green Lantern shirt.
Yeah, I did it ironically. I also wore my Green Lantern ring. I had a Green Lantern ring made for me a few years back for my 25th birthday, and I had that made for me, and I love it. And anyway, yeah, custom made. Oh yeah, because I'm a loser. But yeah, and thank you guys for joining us tonight in this long ass discussion. It's been over an hour.
Usually this long?
My movie discussion, last one I did with Devin was just over an hour.
Okay.
So yes, and
I felt bad for rambling a little bit.
Yeah,
so
no, that's why I did the short one because
Yeah.
like my brother gave me hell for the Batman versus Superman. He's like, it was a fucking hour long because I said that it was a review and I was like, it's more of a discussion, movie discussion on it. At that point, like, so that way I wanted to do the two separate ones this time. But yeah, thank you guys for joining us tonight in this sweet discussion and listening to our stupid ramblings from two dumb fucking nerds. And so yeah, if you guys liked the video, please smash the like button, give the old thumbs up there. If you didn't like it, if you like us, give the thumbs button anyway. And please feel free to share this video with your friends. Make sure that they've seen the movie first.
Otherwise, show them the other one first.
Show them the other one first because I know I fucking hate spoilers. Like,
Yeah.
I haven't started watching Game of Thrones yet. It's 2 episodes out at this point that we're recording this. And fucking all over Facebook are these little things, and it's already spoiled shit for me, and I'm so fucking
I avoid
pissed.
Facebook like the plague.
And I'm not on Facebook a whole hell of a lot. Like, I go on and check a couple of things throughout the day, and that's it. I post my video links. I'm not on Facebook too much because, A, nobody really posts much on to me or for me, and I just...
Nobody likes you.
I don't care. I got other shit to do. Especially right now. Pardon me, burping away here. Too much carbonated beverages today.
Yeah.
Also,
I did drink a lot of pop.
I had 2 pops at the when we went out to
I had
lunch.
like 3 pops.
Yeah,
That Monster.
yeah. I bought us energy drinks afterwards.
I had a pop when I got home.
I just had a beer. That's a beer.
My sister
Ooh,
stole one of my pops.
what a bitch.
Little bitch.
Well,
Well,
but
it's more of a, can I have a pop? And it's like, I can't say no.
you can't say no to your sister, especially if you never see her anymore.
That's true, yeah.
But yeah, special shout out to the Geekery
Yeah.
in Niagara Falls, Canada, of course. It's 7000 McLeod Road. Also in that same little restaurant area is the Basement, the video game store. Special shout out to Chris and Ben who own the Basement as well, and Sue who owns the Geekery.
It's not a sponsored video.
No, not sponsored.
Just like the place.
No, but they help me out, so it's a little bit sponsored, and I help them out. So I mean, special shout out to them because they're awesome. All of them are awesome over there. Great food at the menu at the Geekery. It's all pub style food. They just got their liquor license too, so they will have beer and alcohol on tap again, which will be great because they just moved to their new location, which is much bigger. It's a much nicer looking location.
Yeah.
I mean, in the basement there too, because they kind of share a lot of the space. They're doing video game tournaments there, like Smash Bros. Tournaments. Their tournaments are getting much bigger. So please drop by 7000 McLeod Road. Check them out. There's a big fucking sign right above the store now. Their door is pretty much a TARDIS door.
Pretty much, yeah.
It's awesome. So go check them out and tell them that Chris sent you from Chris's Corner. And well, I won't get you anything. You just
They'll laugh and go, we know that loser.
fuck that guy. That's what they'll say. Fuck that guy. But yeah, so check them out. And as I said, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Have a great night, guys.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks. And goodbye. And
See ya.
remember, I'm a classy broad.